हरि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, chapter entitled The Birth of Lord Krishna, text 27. Please repeat after me. Martyah mrityu-vyalabhitah palayan lokan sarvan nirbhayam na adya gachat tvatpada abjam prapya yadrichaya adya sustah shete mrityuh asmat apaiti. मर्त्यो मृत्युव्यालभीतः पलायन् लोकान् सर्वान् निर्भयं नाद्यगच्छत् त्वत्पादाब्जं प्राप्य यदृच्छयाद्य सुस्तः शेते मृत्युरस्मादपैति मर्त्यो मृत्युव्यालभीतः पलायन् लोकान् सर्वान् निर्भयं नाद्यगच्छत् त्वत्पादाब्जं प्राप्य यदृच्छयाद्य सुस्तः शेते मृत्युरस्मादपैति मर्त्यो मृत्युव्यालभीतः पलायन् लोकान् सर्वान् निर्भयं नाद्यगच्छत् त्वत्पादाब्जं प्राप्य यदृच्छयाद्य सुस्तः शेते मृत्युरस्मादपैति मर्त्यो मृत्युव्यालभीतः Mataji's. लोकान् सर्वान् निर्भयं नात्यगच्छत्. Martyah, the living entities who are sure to die. Mrityu Vyala Bhitah, afraid of the serpent of death. Palayan, running. As soon as a serpent is seen, everyone runs away, fearing immediate death. Lokan, to the different planets. Sarvan, all. Nirbhayam, fearlessness. Na adya gachat, do not obtain. Tvat pada abjang, of your lotus feet. Prapya, obtaining the shelter. Yadrichaya, by chance. By the mercy of your lordship and your representative, the spiritual master. Guru Kripa, Krishna Kripa. Adya, presently. Sustaha, being undisturbed and mentally composed. Shete, or sleeping. Mrityuho, death. Asmat, from those persons. Apaiti, flees. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Translation: no one in this material world has become free from the four principles: birth, death, old age, and disease, even by fleeing to various planets. But now that you have appeared, my Lord, death is fleeing in fear of you, and the living entities, having obtained shelter at your lotus feet by your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace. Purport: there are different categories of living entities, but everyone is afraid of death. The highest aim of the karmis is to be promoted to the higher heavenly planets, where the duration of life is very long. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 17, Sahasra Yuga Pariyantam Ahariyat Brahmano Viduhu. One day of Brahma equals 1000 yugas, and each yuga consists of 43 lakh years. Similarly, Brahma has a night of 1000 times, 43 lakh years. In this way, we may calculate Brahma's month and year. But even Brahma, who lives for millions and millions of years, Viparardha Kala, also must die. According to Vedic Shastra, the inhabitants of the higher planetary systems live for 10,000 years. And just as Brahma's day is calculated to equal 430 crores of our years, one day in the higher planetary system equals 6 of our months. Karmis therefore try for promotion to the higher planetary systems, but this cannot free them from death. In this material world, everyone from Brahma to the insignificant ant must die. Therefore, this world is called Martyaloka. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, text 16, Abrahma Bhuvanna Loka Punaravartinorjuna. As long as one is within this material world, either on Brahmaloka or on any other loka within this universe, one must undergo the Kala Chakra of one life after another. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. But if one returns to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yadgatvana Nivartante, one need not re-enter the limits of time. Therefore, devotees who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord can sleep very peacefully with this assurance from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 9, Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. After giving up the present body, a devotee who has understood Krishna as he is need not return to this material world. The constitutional position for the living entity is eternity. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire nityah shashvato yang. Every living entity is eternal, but because of having fallen into this material world, one wanders within the universe, continually changing from one body to another. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Everyone is wandering up and down within this universe, but one who is sufficiently fortunate comes in contact with Krishna consciousness by the mercy of the spiritual master and takes to the path of devotional service. Then one is assured of eternal life with no fear of death. When Krishna appears, everyone is freed from fear of death. Yet, Devaki felt, we are still afraid of Kamsa. Although you have appeared as our son, she was more or less bewildered as to why this should be so, and she appealed to Lord to free her and Vasudeva also from this fear. In this connection, it may be noted that the moon is one of the heavenly planets. From the Vedic literature, we understand that one who goes to the moon receives a life with a duration of 10,000 years, in which to enjoy the fruits of pious activities. If our so called scientists are going to the moon, why should they come back here? We must conclude without a doubt that they have never gone to the moon. To go to the moon, one must have the qualification of pious activities. Then one may go there and live. If one has gone to the moon, why should he return to this planet where life is of a very short duration? Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nitnamane. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitnamane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshakarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Martyo Mrityu Vyala Bhita Palayan Lokan Sarvan Nirbhayam Nadya Gachat Tvat Padabjam Prapya Yadrichayadya Susta Shete Mrityu Rasmad Apaiti. Once again, translation. No one in this material world has become free from the four principles birth, death, old age, and disease, even by fleeing to various planets. But now that you have appeared, my Lord, death is fleeing in fear of you, and the living entities, having obtained shelter at your lotus feet by your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace. Hare Krishna. So, now in this chapter, where we are seeing the birth of Krishna, Devaki is now offering her glorifications or prayers. Throughout Bhagavatam, we see everywhere so many prayers are there. Each and every canto has. And this canto, we saw even it began with demigods offering glorification to Lord. Even when he was just inside the womb, that time itself they started glorifying, praising him. And then we saw the prayers offered by Vasudeva, father of Krishna. And then now mother is praying or glorifying a newborn child, which is actually nothing new for us, right? In this material world also we see the same thing. When child is newborn, mother, compared to all others, mother starts glorifying so much. I don't know how to tell in English, but in Tamil at least they say Juju Juju, Challakuti, Patakuti, Yarasa, Deivam. They tell like, my Lord, you are the king of this world. So much glorifications they make, all so much out of, they say, out of love. So much exaggerations are there. Here also Devaki, we see same kind of glorifications are going on. She is saying, you are the controller of time. Yesterday's verse we saw. You are controlling creation, destruction, maintenance, everything you are doing. But there is no exaggeration in this. But at least we can know from where it all began. Mother glorifying child, it all began from Lord himself. So Devaki is glorifying Lord, offering prayers. And in today's verse, she is speaking about the most fearful thing of this material world. The most fearful thing. Mrityu, death. In the verse, we can see that Martyo mrityu vyala bhitaf palayan. Very nicely she says that mrityu vyala bhitaf palayan. Seeing death, people are here, even hearing about death, people are getting so much fear. What they do? They are running away. And she gives very beautiful example. Bhita, vyala bhitaf palayan. Just like when someone sees a snake, in our construction site we have so much experience. When Pongal holidays or Diwali holidays come, we don't use machines there, so it is very peaceful. So many snakes, they come out, they occupy all the sheds where workers supposed to be. So when we go around, then even if someone says there is a snake, we get so much fearful, right? What to speak of snake? Even if you see some rope, then we may imagine it as a snake, and then we get so much afraid. And so she is very nicely comparing to that. And Prabhupada, in word by word meaning, in bracket, he writes that as soon as a serpent is seen, everyone runs away, fearing immediate death. So similarly, here she is comparing afraid of the serpent of death. Death she is comparing to serpent. So everyone is afraid of death. Prabhupada writes in the purport, there are different categories of living entities, but everyone is afraid of death. From scriptures we see Jalaja Navalakshani, Stavara Laksha Vinshati, Krimayo Rudra Shankyaka, Pakshinam Dasa Lakshanam, Trimsa Lakshani Pashavaha, Chatur Lakshani Manushaha. So how these 84 lakhs of species are there? Full description is given. Jalaja Navalakshani, in aquatics there are 9 lakhs of species. Stavaras Laksha Vinshati, 20 lakhs of stavaras, trees, plants. Krimayo Rudra Sankyaka, 11 lakhs of insects and reptiles like that. Pakshinam Dasalakshanam, 10 lakhs of plant, pakshis, birds. And Trimsa Lakshani Pashavaha, 30 lakhs of beasts, animals. And Chatur Lakshani Manushaha, 4 lakhs of human beings. And Prabhupada writes different categories of living entities, but everyone is afraid of death. And very important, very nice, interesting thing is there. When I was reading the translation and the verse, just we can see in the translation, Prabhupada writes, no one in this material world has become free from the 4 principles: birth, death, old age, and disease, even by fleeing to various planets. He is writing that even if you run to any planet, anywhere, you are not free from birth, death, old age, and disease. And if you see the verse, actually what Devaki says, Devaki only says about Mrityu. She says, Martyah Mrityu Vyala Bhitah Palayan. She speaks about the living entities and Mrityu Vyala Bhitah. They are afraid of death. There is nothing about Janma or nothing about old age or nothing about disease. But Prabhupada mentions in the translation, no one in this material world has become free from 4 principles: birth, death, old age, and disease, even by fleeing to various planets. Why? Because we can understand, we can see, not only from death, people generally they think that from death no one can escape, but the actual reality is not only from death, even from other, these 3 things also, which in scriptures mention them as bhavaroga, the real problems of this material world, from which no one can escape: birth, death, old age, disease. All these 4. People generally they are ignorant of this. So therefore, what happens when you say death, or when they hear about death, they become so fearful, like what we are reading here. But when you say about old age, what happens? Because many of them, they don't have the experience, they are still young or in childhood, they are not much fearful. And when you say disease, only whenever some huge virus or huge impact of a disease comes, then only they get little bit of fear. When you say birth, everybody thinks, what fear is there in birth? That is the most celebrated day in my life. Every year I'm waiting for that birthday. So people are ignorant of that. But scripture says, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. These 4 are the real problems. People may think problem means I have money problem, economic problem, or I have health problem, back problem, or many relative problem, mother-in-law problem, girlfriend problem, so many things they may say problem. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he does not mention any of them. Scriptures also, they don't mention that. Krishna is saying only Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. These are the 4 problems. So then why not economic problem or health problem? Why these are not problems? Because scriptures gives 3 conditions. If something is a problem, then it should fulfill 3 conditions. If it fulfills all the 3 conditions, then you can say it as a real problem. Condition number 1, it should be common for all. If it is a problem, then it should be common for all. Condition number 2, it should be there at all the time, all the times. Condition number 3, it should be in all the places. These 3 are the conditions. If any problem, whatever you say as a problem, if it fulfills all the 3 conditions, then it is a problem. For example, let us take back problem. For example, condition number 1, it should be there for everyone. Here someone may have, for example, Mahamantra Prabhu has. So he may have, I may not have, you may not have. So if only one person is having and if another person is not having, then it is not fulfilling the first condition. That means that is not a problem at all. Condition number 2, let's see at least whether it fulfills the condition number 2. Condition number 2 is it should be there at all the time. So in past he had, in present some little better, some treatment he went, little better, but still it is there. But in future it may get cured. There are so many people, they say that, I went to this doctor, so immediately he cured me. So today you may have, tomorrow you may not have. Today you may have money problem, tomorrow suddenly, some lottery, some jackpot, suddenly you win 2 crores, 3 crores. You become crorepati. Tamil, they say from Terukodi, you become Kotishwaran. From a loafer, from a beggar on the street, he becomes suddenly a crorepati. So these are not real problems. And third condition, it should be at all the places. Now we are facing, today's climate, Surya Bhagavan is very merciful. Today is not much hot, but other days in site, construction site, daily labors are, so much, they are crying. Oh, so hot, Prabhu, so hot. What is this? So hot. It's a big problem for them. But at the same time, if you go to any other country, for example, if you go to US or somewhere else, same heat is not going to be there. So that is not a problem because it is not present at all the places. Now, if you see what are the problems Krishna mentioning, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, these problems, if you take into consideration for these 3 conditions, they will match all the conditions. Exactly that is what in the translation. Just we will go line by line translation. No one in this material world has become free from the 4 principles, birth, death, old age and disease, even by fleeing to various planets. This is the first point of the translation, which proves all the 3 conditions. First point, no one in this material world has become free. That's mean what? It is common for everyone. No one is free. It is common for everyone. Birth, death, old age, disease. Condition number 2, at all the times. So Devaki is saying, Mother Devaki is saying, no one in this material world has become free. In past, no one has become free. Present till now also no one has become free. And from scriptures we see in future also cannot. We will see in the class, we will see about that. And the condition number 3, at every places. She is saying even by fleeing to various planets. You run from here to moon, you run from here to Mars, wherever you go. Prabhupada very nicely in the end of the purport he writes, that time it was a huge thing. Man landed on the moon. First man to land on the moon, Neil Armstrong. So much propaganda was going on. So Prabhupada was saying, if that is true, then why did they come back? Why they have to come back? When I was studying in college that time, this, what was it? Mars red was very famous thing. Scientists were saying, in few years, in 5 years or 10 years, something like that, we are planning a one-way trip to Mars. We will take you all to Mars because in Mars we can be happy. So why, sir, one-way trip? Because it's like as Prabhupada is saying, if you go, then why you have to return back? Is that kind of concept? No, no. Scientists said, we have only here all the equipments by which we can take you to Mars, but in Mars we don't have any equipment to bring you back, so we will leave you there. So, but people are so foolish. So many of them were, paying money. So many of them were, thousands and thousands of them were filling application forms, and they were, selecting hundreds of them. And finally, as usual, everybody knows, future, future. Still, it is going on. Future, future, future. You can just type in Google Mars Red, it will come. So no one can escape from these things. Therefore, even Devaki is just mentioning about death. Acharyas like Prabhupada, whatever opportunity comes, immediately they start preaching. They start immediately telling the reality. Not only death, even birth, old age, disease, everything is problem. All these four things are problem. Very, very much we can see that people are so much engrossed in material life, and whatever material knowledge or whatever thing they hear, they listen, they don't get this knowledge. Therefore, they are thinking, just let me be happy. But time to time we see in verses also, in commentaries also, acharyas they explain. Even when people hear about this, birth is also a problem. Even just staying 10 months inside womb, it itself a big thing. We forget that. Bhagavatam very nicely explains in the third canto, very nicely, how a child is in the womb, how much struggle it faces, upside down, tightly packed, surrounded by mucus, stool, small insects biting. If mother eats bitter, you feel that. If mother eats something spicy, you feel that. Even if you want to come out, if you want to shout, no one can hear. Even if you kick, mother thinks, oh, my baby is kicking, nice. But it is crying from inside. And when you come out, how you are coming out? You are not coming out smiling, you are coming out crying. It shows that birth is a problem. And last week, Sunday class, we were discussing during the Sunday evening class. Last Sunday was World Mother's Day. So throughout the world, they were sending so many messages, they were glorifying. But unfortunately, we can see modern mothers, already child within the womb is suffering so much, and all glories to advancement of Kali Yuga. Modern mothers, they are trying to help the baby in the womb. Why it should suffer for 10 months? So therefore, we are using contraceptives. Better that baby doesn't even enter inside. Why it should suffer? They try with contraceptives. They don't want to get children. They don't want to bear the babies. They use contraceptives. Or by chance, if baby develops, then what they do? Still they don't want the baby to suffer inside the womb. They abort the child. Why it should suffer for 10 months inside? They abort the child. If also by chance the child takes birth, the baby takes birth, very sad thing I just came to know last Sunday. In West, it's very popular thing that baby dumpsters. This word, if you type. So I was thinking, what is this baby dumpsters? And in images, I saw so many boxes, and in everybody it was written, no babies, no babies, no babies. So I was first initially when I saw that, I was thinking, just like in India, in Tamil Nadu, we have so much propaganda, that we two, ours two, we two, ours one. Now it is like we two, that's enough, no more. So like that, I was thinking maybe no babies means they are saying that let us not have more children, just let us enjoy life, be happy. But it was not true. Just below that statement, no babies, they had put some images. From that only came to understand, no babies means please don't throw your babies inside these dustbins. It's a very common thing in US also, in so many other countries. The newborn child, they are just dumping inside that garbage bin, whatever you call. So, and the government is saying, so even if you want to throw, if you don't want to grow this child, if you don't want to take care of this child, at least give to nearby fire station or some hospital. We will take care, government will take care. Government is still not saying that this is wrong, you should not do that. They're saying, okay, if you want to do, you do that. But at least take care of the child also. So even after struggling with the birth of 10 months being in the womb, if some child comes out, see what and all the sufferings, old age, disease, death, everything starts from the birth. So birth is, therefore we can understand it's a real problem. Similarly, disease, old age, disease during, Prabhupada in many lectures mentions that during his time there was a plague, very big attack in India. Plague was a big thing. So government announced that if anybody finds any dead rat, you will be awarded with money. Because they were so afraid that if some dead rat is there, and I was during that time reports, then I was reading how was that impact. Then at the time people were even afraid to collect that dead rat and give to government, because they were thinking if I go there I will get the disease. And then what is the use of getting the money which my family will use, I will not be able to use. Same thing, Corona time also, people were so much afraid to come out, initially at least. Then it became a normal thing. Wearing masks, they were not even opening their doors, they were not at all coming out. So when disease come, people are so much, fearful. They can understand this is a problem. Same thing, old age. When we are young, we may not understand that. For example, when we are young, if somebody tells us, Chiranjeevi, Prabhu, just now I was thinking about you. So you will live for 100, 108 years. Then the boy will be happy. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. You tell this to some 60% old devotee. Prabhu, just now I was thinking about you, Prabhu. Prabhu, you will live for 100 years. Prabhu, why, Prabhu? Already so much suffering in this material world. Why you want to extend? Though we understand devotees will be happy to do service, but because they are realizing, they are facing the issue that what is old age, they say that, why, Prabhu? If you can extend from 20 to 30, 35, 20 to 40, that age, if you can extend, that is okay. More service I can do. Why you are extending after 100? So, old age is also trouble. And actually, old age doesn't start after 60 or 70. Old age starts right from our birth. Even when you are 1 year, aged, how people will ask you, how old are you? How old is your baby? My baby is 6 months old. My baby is 1 day old. Even if it is 1 minute, you are 1 minute old. Old age starts right from birth. So everyone is facing birth, disease, old age throughout our life. And finally, the fear personification, death personification comes. Everyone is then afraid of death. Everyone knows that, as the English saying goes, as sure as death. Everyone knows we are going to face death. Then why still we are fearing? Why people are fearing of death? Everybody knows this is going to happen in my life. Then why to fear? Because people think death means end card. Over, everything is over. Whatever I have accumulated, whatever I am desiring, whatever I want to do, everything will be over. Even we, before coming to Krishna consciousness, at least myself, same understanding was there. Death means if somebody dies means everything is over, gone. So therefore, one should not die, one should not die. We have that fear. Krishna says in Gita, Jatasya dhruvo mrityur, whoever takes birth, you have to die. Then why one should fear? Because we think death means everything is over. But Prabhupada in one lecture is mentioning, actually death means that is the beginning. Because after that only everything starts. Death is continuation. That is not end card. So Krishna continues in the verse. He doesn't stop with Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur. He says in the next line, Dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Whoever dies has to take birth again. But when we explain this, that time also people still have fear. When we tell them you are not dying, you are living eternally, you are going to continue your life, still even after hearing that, people are fearful. Why? Because where it will continue, how it will continue, they don't know. At present, people are taking human life for granted. But human life, you may not continue just after your death. Next life also, you may not continue in human life. Scientists are thinking like from single cell organism, evolution happened to multi-cell organism. Then gradually in evolution, now human species came. This is the topmost. So they are thinking even if any birth is there, then still again we will come get human birth. But scripture says no. Labdva sudurlabam idam bahu sambhavante manushyam. Manushya Janma is Labdva Sudurlabam, not Durlabam. Sudurlabam, very rare to attain. And even after attaining that, we are not acting as how we should act. So therefore we are thinking, so this we understand that this human life is very precious, very rare. Tamil also they have a saying, Aridu, Aridu, Mandarai, Piratal, Aridu. It's very rare to take human birth. People know that. So therefore what they want to do, they want to extend this. Somehow I should not die. Why next life, whether I will get human birth or not, because I have to again start from the scratch. Let me just extend this life. Therefore, they are trying all the means. Here, Devaki is saying, what? Even by fleeing to various planets, whatever opportunities there, people are trying somehow to extend this same life. First thing, either they go to God. God means not this God, because they don't believe in this God at all. For them, God means doctor. For them, doctor is the second God, right? So they go to doctor. They beg him, doctor, somehow, please, extend my life. Prabhupada many times in books also and in lectures also used to mention about one of his friend in Allahabad, or Ahmedabad, Allahabad, I think. Prabhupada used to say, my 54-year-old friend, rich man, very rich man, but he was on his deathbed. When doctor came, this man is literally kind of crying. Doctor, please, extend just to 4 more years. 4 more years is enough. I have some more plans to fulfill. Prabhupada jokingly says, 54 years you cannot finish your plans, so in 4 years what you are going to do? But just 4 years, doctor, can you just increase? What doctor will tell? Doctors actually, they are little pious. They tell, whatever I can do, I did, rest is in his hands. So, doctors cannot do. And what we do, if doctors cannot do, we have little higher people than them, those who are called scientists. So we go to them, we approach them, and scientists say, don't worry, these doctors are useless. They tell that, whatever we can do, we finish, now rest is in God's hand. But we tell everything is in our hands. You just come to us. There is a field called cryogenics. In cryogenics, what doctors do, not doctors, scientists. What scientists, they do, they give you promise. They give you hope. Like Bhagavatam says, hope against hope. They give you hope. Don't worry, you will not die. Sir, my father died. No, he will not die. We will help you. Sir, how you will help, sir? You bring his dead body. We will keep it in a freezer. We will keep it frozen. And one day, we are on that march. We are on that progress. One day, surely, we will find out the medicine. We will bring them back. Oh, okay, sir, very nice. So still you are finding that medicine. So maybe I think you will keep my father's body for experimenting. So maybe can you take him freely? Dead body, take freely. No, we charge. So how much you charge, sir? Just 1.5 crores, according to Indian currency. They keep the dead body, and there are so many people, those who are paying for this, and this is going on. You can just type cryogenics. Cryonics. Yeah. So they are storing. And if you tell doctor, see, actually we are from poor background, I cannot spend 1.5 crores. Can you give some discount concession? They have that scheme also. They tell you, if you cannot give 1.5 crore, we have second scheme of 65 lakhs offer. You pay 65 lakhs and we will chop off the head and we will keep the head only. And in future, from that head, we will bring back the same person in same body to life. And people are doing that. Somehow people want to do, somehow they want to extend their lives. Or if doctors cannot help, scientists cannot help, then their own endeavors. Yesterday Krishnadas Prabhu was mentioning from Guru Maharaj's lecture, Mesopotamian folk story. Maharaj was mentioning that how, I'm not going to narrate the story again, Prabhu mentioned yesterday. That man saw death personified, then he wanted, I want to just escape somewhere. And same as Devaki Mata is saying, even by fleeing to various planets, she is saying, even if you flee to various planets, you cannot escape. What he did, he flew from one country to another country. And Yamaraj was waiting there. He said, morning when I saw you there, I was wondering. Afternoon I had appointment with you in this country, but morning you were in another country. I was thinking how this will happen. But very nice, we came here. So you cannot escape. So many Prabhupada tells that a man applied a stool all over his body. He thought, if I apply stool, nobody can come near me. And then how this Yamaraj will come? He will run away. Few times I have mentioned this Giriraj Maharaj in his book. He explained very nice story that was. There was a person, a sculptor who does carvings. So he wanted to know when he is going to die. He was very good artist. So he wanted to know when he is going to die. So he went to an astrologer. So scientists not working, doctors not working. So let me take shelter of astrologer. He went to astrologer. So then the astrologer said, especially this point of time, you will leave body. Then the sculptor, he was getting ready for that. Getting ready means what? As Krishna is saying, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Not like that. What he did? I will cheat death personified. I will cheat Yamaraj. How I will cheat? Because I am a good sculptor, I can just carve sculptures resembling me. So what he did? Exactly 9 forms he sculpted, he carved exactly resembling him and kept all around his workshop. And exactly when the day came, that Muhurta came, when Yamaraj had an appointment with him, this person also, this sculptor also, among one of those carvings, he also stood like a sculpture. He was standing like that. He thought, now Yamaraj will come, he will see there are 10 same form, so maybe he may carry anyone or he may just go back. So this man was so happy. And Yamaraj comes. We know Yamaraj is not so foolish. He is one of the 12 Mahajanas, topmost intelligent person. He comes, he sees. First he thinks, what kind of foolish person he is? What he is trying to do? Then we know, materialistic people, if you want to pinch them, you have to pinch their false ego. If you just pinch little bit, enough. So Yamaraj knew the technique. So he started shouting, who is this nonsense sculptor? Thinking himself to be very great. He doesn't know how to even carve. All the proportions are wrong. See the proportions of limb, see the face, everything is ugly. Even the color what he gave is wrong. By hearing one by one, the false ego is flaring inside, it's pumping up for the sculptor. One point of time, he could not bear anything. Then he came out, how you can say like this? What a great sculptor, what you are speaking. Then Yamaraj said, okay, thank you, come sir, come with me. So whatever we try, we cannot escape. You try within this world, you try running anywhere, Prabhupada writes in the purport. Actually, there is a process. If you want to extend your life, you cannot do that in same body, but you can have a long life. You can have that. Shastras are giving that description. Prabhupada writes in the purport. The highest aim of karmis is to be promoted to higher heavenly planets where the duration of life is very long. See, if you want to have a very long life, then there is a process given in scriptures. You follow that, then you may go to moon, you may go to heaven. Their duration of life is very long. If you go to heavenly planets, here 6 months is equal to 1 day there. 1 day means 12 hours. Similarly, another 6 months is another 12 hours. 12 hours of day, 12 hours of night. So in heavenly planet, 1 day, in material, in our Bhumandala, it is 1 year. So long time you have, there also 100 years you can live. If you feel even that is less, then Prabhupada gives description of Brahma Loka, which is the topmost in this material world. He tells 43 lakh years is